All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Rakugo, Season 1, Episode 7. Okay, so we have Yakumo has found his Rakugo.
He has indeed.
And that's good. Our boy is growing and he's getting more confident and this is a whole
and that shines through to all of the people that watch him.
Yes, like Sukeroku just feeding off the energy, just loving it so much.
Yeah. Now it seems a little bit less than that though with Miyokichi.
Yes, she had a little bit of an odd look, didn't she?
And maybe that was the specific story that was being told. Maybe it was the way that he seemed clearly so enveloped in this that there was that melancholy feeling of that he wouldn't be depending on her advice or encouragement anymore. Maybe, I don't know. There are tons of things that it could be. Hopefully we'll find out.
Yeah, I vibe with kind of that, as well as also the subject matter potentially being something that was maybe a little bit sensitive, because it was a comedy about about suicide in a way,
right?
So
among other things, yes.
Yeah, among other things, yeah. So there was that. We've got our kind of our characters all in such a good place here, and yet there hasn't been anything that's really been a problem in terms of drama kind of brought up between any of them here. Right. So did we see the seeds of it already and we're going to see which parts bloom? Or because there were these little parts where we had Sukeroku offering to take Miyokichi home, and she's like, "Oh, you're kind."
Yeah.
And there was this little potential flirting there, and then Matsuda comes in and cockblocks Sukeroku so hard. And
good old Matsuda.
I love Sukeroku. I love him. But I'm pretty sure I already know kind of where Sukeroku ends up in this whole thing, because Kanatsu needs to exist.
Yeah, he was wanting to make Kanatsu. Yeah,
he was wanting to have a little bump so we can have Kanatsu be brought into this world. So if that's the case, then Matsuda is amazing, because in some ways I would rather there be a little bit of a clearer disconnect from Yakumo and Miyokichi, like their whole dynamic
before that happens,
rather than it being a love triangle,
right?
Which is the epitome of drama.
And if they wanted to have an easy way to split them, then that's
how
a way to do it.
But there's a couple other things. There's Sukeroku's stuff that he does in the background that, since we don't really show things from his perspective, we don't know if he's doing anything shady, if he's doing anything that's a little bit kind of a little bit risque or what have you.
Well, he's doing a lot of things that are risque.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We will.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here to YouTube for the discussion. Miscommunication.
Yeah.
Miscommunication drama.
Okay.
I hate it, but it needed to happen because Yakumo as a character, or Bon, whatever, he is one that has constantly had problems with intimacy. Yep. And Miyokichi is definitely, I would say, on the needier side of things with regards to the three main characters. Yeah. And that is okay. That is okay. But part of the thing that makes this so painful is that there is also a very clear aspect of Yakumo not being as attracted to her, or being as, I would say...
Well, she's a lower priority for him.
She is a lower priority
than he is for her.
It is as simple as that, but I think part of the reason for that, though, is because he... I don't want to go too much into speculation right off the bat. Let's go after the episode.
One of the things that I love about how they're handling this, and at the same time I hate because it makes it hurt so much more,
right,
is that we had mentioned how the whole idea of two brothers that end up getting split apart by a woman, and the love triangle, blah blah blah, drama, right? That's so easy to do, and in a lot of ways it's very low-hanging fruit.
I agree.
Right, and it can be done in ways that's very shallow. With the way that they're doing it here,
it's the consequences of his decisions.
Yeah. It's the idea that and this is what makes it so good that the sort of main timeline is going to be, I'm guessing, in the present day where he's old and he's Yakumo and all that stuff, because there's all these regrets that he has. There's this idea that maybe he could have done something that could have avoided this, right?
Right.
And there are a lot of things that he could have done that would have changed things. But there were also things that were probably out of his control, right? Like Sukeroku and his vices, and what will probably end up being he borrows money from some nasty people, right? And then they kill him, right? Because he can't pay.
Sure. That makes perfect sense.
That absolutely makes sense, and that's something that Yakumo can't, like, that's
right.
He can't make Sukeroku not do those things, right?
But it could be the classic thing of him beating himself up about this because he saw the destructive patterns that Sukeroku was basically addicted to, and then wasn't able to do his helpful brother thing of pulling him out of it,
right?
Which again is not his responsibility, but still, because he cares about Sukeroku, it's going to still hurt and sting.
And then as far as Miyokichi goes, like,
you can't really blame her too much in this part,
right? If anything, not in this part. I guess if anything, it would just be that communication is a two-way thing, and Yakumo is the one that's mainly not doing the communicating. But she could probably be a little bit more honest and vulnerable. Now, granted, he's not giving her the time of day. He's not giving her the opportunity.
Right.
But if she were able to basically let him know where she's at, then maybe she'd be able to get some closure where she could realize then, okay, maybe this isn't going to work out. Right. Yeah. And then,
she is okay. Let me bring up a specific example that I think a lot of people can definitely resonate with regards to relationships like this. This is an unequal relationship.
Yep.
An example of this would be basically, let me just take this specific instance here. She is very much wanting the attention and the time to spend with Yakumo. One, because she cares about him.
Yep.
Two, because in some ways, I think she's lonely, and she definitely needs the feeling of someone being there.
Right, and they have a real connection. Like when they're interacting and stuff, it's solid.
I'm gonna go in and say that actually the connection is not as strong as actually we've been led to believe.
Okay.
The thing that's really important here is that she was getting her needs met.
Yes.
He was also getting his needs met in the beginning, but he
anymore.
Fulfilled that already.
Right. Yeah.
So he stopped investing in the relationship, whereas she continued that. So then they started splitting apart because now he feels her pulling on him without him being willing to give anything. So he begins to resent her a little bit and starts passive-aggressively pushing her away with little bits of miscommunication. This is a classic example of someone that is not invested in the relationship, trying to let them off easy, which in a way that is
the worst thing,
immature, passive-aggressive, and just generally not not a way that will, I would say, leave them in a satisfying manner, because the communication is so vague.
It's the slow pulling off of the Band-Aid, while at the same time basically not necessarily promising, but giving them the hope that maybe the Band-Aid isn't being pulled off. They don't need it. Doesn't need to be pulled off.
Yeah. There's an aspect of his Rakugo being a thing that is coalescing more into a I would say a thing that's giving him a feeling of purpose, solidarity, that he is doing a good job.
Yeah.
Now, she was like showering him with affirmation and all this good stuff at the beginning. So what might have been a thing of where his doubt regarding who he is as a person or as a man or what have you was then getting reinforced by via her interactions and stuff. He doesn't need that as much anymore because he's now being respected for his Rakugo. He's found his Rakugo. The audience is loving him. His master is now acknowledging his work there. Sukeroku is even being like, hey dude, you're getting it. This is good. So he's not communicating that those needs that brought him to her, or even to kind of relent to her forwardness,
are no longer there.
It's no longer there.
Yeah.
And she, I would say, is doing a great job though at being forward, at letting him know, I would like to spend time with you.
Yep.
Hey, Sukeroku, get the off his lap. That is my spot.
Yep.
I want to be here. This is my time. And the thing is that she's not asking a lot of him.
Yeah.
Like in this case, I think she started to realize, hey, I just want to spend time with you.
Right. Like,
I don't care what we're doing, or even if you're doing something great for me. Like, this is a need that she has.
Yep.
But because she's taking the initiative constantly, she's not, I would say she's not in the wrong for being dogged with,
Oh, yeah.
like being specific to, make this happen. So.
I feel like it's one of those things where she is basically like, her attention from Yakumo is being there's competition, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And from the Rakugo, like she gets it. She's kind
of happy for it.
Right, she's happy that it's going well, but at the same time, she wants him to still make time for her, and he's not, and that's why she resents it, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then with Sukeroku, it's like, okay, come on, your roommate or me, like
come on, like
what's more important here?
Right.
And what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. And also Sukeroku, she's also kind of, when she was there, kind of drawing the difference of like this bum, like this guy,
right.
He's like actually the one you're choosing over me in that regard. I'm getting jealous here, like,
right. And also this is someone, and I don't know how much she knows about their dynamic. But this is someone that is constantly causing you pain, stress, discomfort, right?
Yeah.
Basically this is someone that doesn't appreciate you.
Right, but because of their past, this is the part that I think is going to hurt the most, is that in some ways, because of the amount of time they've spent together, because of growing up together and doing this, Bon, or Yakumo, he needs the affirmation and respect of Sukeroku. He deep down desires it. He desires that Sukeroku looks at him and goes, hey, you know what? You're doing good. You're doing great. Because we've seen so many little moments.
I won't give you Yakumo. I'll take that from you.
Like those little bits of where the competition between them comes in. I think in some ways Yakumo actually really appreciates that he's seeing him more as an equal rather than someone that needs to be coddled on his way to learning Rakugo. Because this is the guy that came in and was like, I'm going to be the best Rakugo.
That's right.
He was the the shonen protagonist. I have a dream and all this stuff. And now look at him. He's the one that's now completely lost his way.
Yeah.
Sukeroku, don't lose your way.
Yeah.
And now, like, this is, I'm not going to go too hard on the cliche predictions, but I'm pretty sure we're going into some cliche, like, very specific things now. Because, 1, she's going to be lonely. 2, her and the best friend are going to be here for 3 months while he's not.
Right, and however long it is,
Oh, was it 3 months?
No, I just set out 3 months as like an arbitrary thing.
I thought you, because I didn't see when they said how long the trip was going to be.
I don't think they did.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But
that's
still
freaky then, because then it can be anything from 3 days to a year.
Right, exactly. It's who knows, right?
Because because also if they're taking railways, I assume it might take not as long, but there might be moments where they're like, oh, we're gonna then go to this mountain town. Right. And then, oh no, winter, and we're snowed in. It's going to be a whole nother 3 months,
And just the trips could easily take 3-4 days, Like these are old railways, right? These aren't the this isn't.
I mean, we did have World War II.
Yes, but
so
still,
it's not that old.
Not that old, but it's not like what modern trains are.
Yes, you're right. You're right. There's no bullet trains around here.
Definitely not.
Yeah, nothing like that. But
it's fine, Miyokichi. I'll be home for supper. Yeah.
But this is an example of something where she and Sukeroku are definitely going to hook up. Mm-hmm. She is going to find that Sukeroku, in a lot of ways, is more of actually what she needed. And then she's probably going to come to resent Sukeroku a little bit as well. And I think also in some ways Sukeroku is going to spiral down even more. And then by the time Yakumo comes back, he's going to be incredibly good at Rakugo in certain areas. I think he'll still be alive. He doesn't have to be. But I think the big thing that will happen is that he'll have made this name for himself, but he'll have all this resentment built up towards Yakumo, but even more so, Yakumo really screwed up with Miyokichi, though.
Yeah, seriously screwed up.
Because if he doesn't tell her that he's leaving, I know he hasn't left yet, so he could still tell her,
but
at the last second.
Yeah, telling her the day of is kind of a dick move.
It is still a dick move, but if he doesn't tell her at all, like he just leaves and doesn't tell her at all.
Oh yeah.
It's something where, oh my god, because obviously Sukeroku's going to tell her then. Like, it's not going to be a thing of where she won't know.
Oh no, yeah,
anything about
and that's going to be the worst part. Is that she will feel absolutely betrayed.
Right, absolutely. What I'm talking about is that she won't do the super cliche thing of waiting up every night. When will he come visit me at the shop?
Well, she probably will for a little while.
I think she'll do it for at least a couple nights. But it won't be the ridiculous thing.
It won't be the thing where he's gone the entire time.
Look at her personality. She's gonna go straight to his place and be like, "Where the hell is he?" And Sukeroku's gonna be like, "What? You didn't know?"
Yeah, and what sucks is that given how she's basically been spurned time and again, like the thing that probably hits the hardest, weirdly enough, from this episode for me is not her crying at her place, right? Even though that does hurt.
That does hurt, yeah.
It's the fact that Sukeroku's like, let's go drinking, and he's like, okay, fine, right? I have a meeting, right? And they go drinking, or well, no, they don't go drinking. He lures him back and gets him to fall asleep. Puts him to sleep. And then she shows up there and she's like, hey, I was, waiting for you, and then I came over here. Let's go. She drags Sukeroku off of him. After that, we can only assume that they went. We didn't see any of their, special time together, right? Now, did it end up not happening?
No. What ended up happening was he woke up. And he was like, where are you guys going? I want to go. And she's like, we're going to a high class, quiet,
right. Yeah.
Fancy establishment. And he's like, oh, no, that won't do for me. It ended the scene with them yelling at each other and arguing, Sukeroku and her.
So they never
and
even went.
he just was looking out at the window during this whole time.
Yeah, okay. So, because you're right.
So it didn't happen.
What I imagined was that after that they still ended up going, but it was so unimportant that it's not even shown.
Oh, I took it as no, they didn't even end up.
Yeah. Okay, that does make a lot more sense.
Yeah. This is something that also I would say I have some personal experience with. There are times when as someone who has dealt with not, I would say, the same issues that Yakumo has with his kind of fear of intimacy, but a similar thing of where expressing emotion, I would say, is something that was tough for me at a certain point. When you'd be in a relationship with someone who is very expressive with emotion. This was back when I was like 17 or something like that. So obviously I wasn't that mature with expressing emotion. But when someone starts to tug on you, to pull on you, because in a relationship it's a give and take, right?
Absolutely.
And her and Bon and Miyokichi are definitely in a relationship. If you're not willing to be able to tell someone when you're not able to give them something at that time, it might feel a little bit painful for them to be rejected when they come to you to get their needs met and stuff. But that honesty, that openness and willingness to communicate shows how much you value and trust them to be able to handle this in a proper way. Now, obviously, she's not going to like that. She's not going to like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But in the same way as him showing her that the Rakugo is more important, him telling her, hey, right now, Rakugo is more important to me. And I know you really want me to get promoted and stuff, and you're not even thinking at all about what that would mean for me as, having that Rakugo thing as being a big deal. You're just thinking about yourself and how it's going to give you more time with me.
Which is understandable.
Yes. Yeah. But rather than using kind of veiled language to communicate that, being open and direct about that is something that actually requires a lot of strength and maturity to do. And yet, because of the situation that we find these characters in, none of them are perfect. I mean, no one's perfect, but all of them have these specific character flaws that are
Right.
leading towards this drama actually happening and making sense in terms of their flaws and their motivations.
And the thing is that Yakumo acting like this it's something that has been foreshadowed and so it makes sense that he's doing this, but it has never gotten to this level. And I feel like the reason for that is because he was always so passive. He didn't really have something that he desperately wanted, so he kind of went along with things.
Rakugo
Right. He didn't. Stages, exactly. But now he does have something that he really wants, and because of that, it's almost like he doesn't know how to have a balance.
Yeah.
Right. In the same way,
like Sukeroku.
Right. In the same way
ways,
that Sukeroku doesn't know how to have a balance. Right.
Yeah.
Yakumo doesn't either. And because of that, this is going to go very, very badly. And the thing is that this is all something that could have been avoided by just openly communicating.
Yep.
But
yeah, but it's like you said, it's a lot of little things as well. There's the aspect of Sukeroku. Like, this was something I tapped into really quickly. There is an aspect of when you're really close to someone that you don't take a lot of the little red flags seriously.
Right, because you've seen them before and all that stuff. Yeah.
So taking the aspect that Sukeroku is, like Yakumo is very put upon, let's just say, by Sukeroku.
Yes.
To say the least.
Uh-huh.
Sukeroku does not apologize for any of this. He does not actually take any of Yakumo's complaints seriously.
Right.
He is having fun in a lot of ways, getting those reactions and such from Yakumo.
It's a dysfunctional relationship that they got going.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, also, Yakumo is giving him multiple times of like, hey, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. But because he is not actually giving any consequences to Sukeroku, Sukeroku isn't actually learning anything from this.
Yeah.
An example of this would be, there was a point where I messed up big time in a relationship when I was in California. It was a good friend of mine, and we were talking about a lot of the quirks of the people that were in our house kind of situation there. And we were all laughing about it. You can see where this can go really wrong, right?
Oh, definitely.
And one person said something that was like a little bit too like pointed. It wasn't basically funny anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the room just got kind of quiet.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh crap. And then in terms of like trying to clear things up, I was like, I'm just going to share something really dumb about me or what have you. And I was like, well, I do this, and it's just a weird thing. And they kind of looked at me like, you're trying to make this about you, it got a little weird there. And I was like, well, I mean, well, basically,
you don't have to say what it was.
They didn't say anything.
Well, right, but the idea of like self-deprecating
kind of
humor to
right. I'm trying to wash it over,
right.
But I'm realizing that they're going to need to have a conversation one-on-one about this. But this is where I doubled down and made it even worse.
Oh,
and I was like, yeah, like so and so has.
Oh no.
So then I started to like throw it around.
Oh.
And the first person I chose looked at me and was just like, you messed up. You crossed the line. I was just like, it's late. We were all joking around. I messed up. And you can feel like you can feel my things about this. And I was just like, immediately knew I had screwed up. I was just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I highly respect you. I love you, dude. You're amazing. Like, don't take this the wrong way. It was like 4 days of slowly, like after that, building things back up to where they felt like they could trust me. Like, there is a very, very fine line that you need to walk when someone trusts you in a deep way, where in this situation, the characters here are kind of taking advantage of each other's trust or connection or willingness to be intimate. And that's something that if you do that over and over and over and over again, Yakumo in this instance will begin to resent them. And
it's easier. It's easier for them to get by with this because the situations that they're happening in are one-on-one for the most part.
For the most part,
yes.
yes.
And because of that, it's sort of like yeah, there's no one here. It's just us, and we can kind of joke around and stuff. And in the case of with Sukiroku, he's constantly joking around, right? He's not taking anything seriously.
With the masters,
right.
With,
and when
stuff,
Yakumo, tells him off, that's all just part of the game, right? Yep. He needs to have a point where Yakumo says, no, this isn't a game. I'm serious, man.
I'm kicking you out of the apartment.
Yeah, you need to fix your shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, and the unfortunately, in a lot of ways, it's kind of a similar thing with Miyokichi, where this is their dynamic that they've always had, right? She's been the one that's like, come on, go. And he'll be like, no. And then she'll kind of, but eventually he'll relent, right? Yep. But now it's in a situation where it's not happening.
Right.
And that would be totally fine if it was something that was talked about. But then when it gets to that point where, oh, no, this is actually kind of serious now.
Yeah.
There's no one else in the room, so to speak, to basically let them know that it's at that point, right?
Right.
Because if it's just one-on-one, then you might think, oh, but this is all part of the thing that you do to try and convince me or whatever, right? But when there's an outside third party that's like, oh, I think some lines have been crossed here, then it's then that can actually be the trigger that makes your brain go there and be like, oh, yeah, I can't just treat this the way I always do.
Right. You need to have moments where people essentially slap you in the face when you've kind of crossed the line.
Right.
And the thing is that it might feel like it's coming out of nowhere because it probably is
from
in a
your
little
perspective,
bit. From your perspective, it certainly is. But from someone who understands what it's like to be in a situation where you don't feel like you can communicate, you need to stand up for yourself in multiple ways. You need to have basically a moment, basically where you just kind of let it out, and people are going to be like, hey, wow, you're so uncool. Like you used to be way better than
this.
Right.
What we're just messing around. What's the big deal? You don't need to take it personally, all that stuff. Yeah.
All that crap is like gaslighting and just completely just trying to blow you off and what have you there.
And regardless of what it is that you're doing, you don't need to. It doesn't matter what it is that they're doing in a lot of ways. You have some boundaries that you have, whatever those are, and you hold to those.
Yeah. So we've got our situation where this will be it. And now the weird thing is that I don't have any frustrations with Miyokichi.
Me neither.
Which actually worries me.
Yeah, I know.
Because if she's supposed to be the wedge that drives between there, okay, there's two ways this could go. There's two ways this
Only
could
two?
go. No. 2 ways in the bad way.
Okay.
There's probably a good way that this can go, but I don't think that's going to go a good way. First bad way, vindictiveness.
All right.
She literally uses Sukeroku.
Sure.
And honestly, that doesn't seem that crazy.
Well, and in a lot of ways, it would be kind of mutual, probably.
Oh yeah.
Because
I
mean, he wouldn't be interested in any kind of serious relationship now.
Yeah. But then that's where Kanatsu comes into play. The other one is even more vengeful. She uses the master. And like this is the kind of thing where she could, if she was really really angry and really hurt, really hurt, is that Sukeroku it actually makes her upset to be near someone that was so close to Yakumo. So she looks at Sukeroku and is just like, you just remind me of him, and she just leaves.
I feel like if they ever did actually hook up, it would be hateful and spiteful. Like,
okay, sure. But my thing is that it's the next level where she thinks she wants to use Sukeroku, and actually her own conscience in some ways is just like, ugh, this feels wrong. But then the vindictiveness comes back and she goes after the master. And that's why they foreshadow this whole thing of, hey, you guys aren't really close anymore,
right? The master asking about that whole thing. Yeah, that does
doesn't that
a little bit
feel a little bit like,
yeah,
this will be important later.
Right, this is a plot flag for, to be used at a later time.
Yep.
One of the things, though, that I wouldn't be too surprised, given how this episode went, because...
Oh, you have another scenario you see coming?
A different approach.
Oh, okay.
Because up till now, I had always assumed that it was going to be Miyokichi and what she did, kind of a thing.
But now we know
right?
It's more complicated than that.
But now what I feel like it is that she's the wedge.
Oh, and someone else is the hammer?
And Yakumo's the hammer. And that's what makes it so nasty, and that's why Yakumo has so much, like guilt and regrets and all that stuff, when he's older and everything, because he knows that this is, maybe not Tsukuroku's death. They can go into that, somehow or whatever, if it is like some, gambling mafia or whatever that comes to collect, right?
Yeah.
But as far as Miyokichi's role in this, he absolutely drove it to happen. Like, yeah.
All right. Well, here we go, guys.
Yep.
Drama has officially begun.
We're in the end game now.
No, we're in the mid game now.
Yeah.
Dude, like, this is...
Oh, no, I know. It's going to get worse. Yeah.
And this is also literally the beginning of the halfway point for the...
for the season.
For this cour, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Yep.
Yeah. There was a lot of good banter this episode. I know we talked entirely about basically the ending there. There were a lot of little subtle moments that really humanized...
all of the characters, but I would say specifically the plight of Miyokichi, so that when she finally cried at the end, it was just like, oh, come on. That just hurts. It hurts.
It really hurts.
And the thing is, I didn't expect that I would get so emotionally invested in Miyokichi, because with the way that she was set up, I kind of saw her as the nasty one that will come in and destroy everything, right?
Really?
Kind of a thing. Even though she didn't demonstrate that in how she was acting and how they characterized her, just because of how she was introduced, I was kind of like,
oh, you felt of her as a threat.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, but okay. The minute I saw her hanging out with Yakumo in just casual wear and just being like so comfortable with him, and then like being excited to put on his makeup and stuff, like that was the stuff where I'm like, oh my god, this is more than that. She has a friend now.
Yep.
Like,
well, it's the thing that I didn't. Yeah, it's.
I don't know. She like immediately in her second episode of being there, I was like, she's no longer a threat. It was more that she was a time bomb, basically, of just potential problems that would come up with regards to probably Suke. I thought Roku was going to make moves on her.
Well, exactly. And it wasn't that I thought that she, like, I could not see her ever getting truly vindictive. I don't think she's that kind of person. In the
earlier parts.
No, even
now.
later. I don't think she'll ever truly get vindictive. I don't think she's that kind of person.
Okay.
But the thing is, I still, like, even not now, but before, I still very much saw her as a threat, that even though it wouldn't be something that she would actively do, it was going to be as a result of her being here, as a result of her presence, that all this stuff was going to happen.
Okay.
And now it's just now I just feel for her. Like, I just want her to be okay. Like the fact that she's not around in the present day, that worries me.
Yeah, because we don't know.
Because we don't know
her fate. Yeah,
we don't know. Like, is she still alive? Does she just move somewhere else? Like what's the deal?
We'll see. So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about this show, non-spoiler, of course, just anime in general. Or you can also talk with Jake about the book he wrote. It's pretty awesome.
Right. It is pretty awesome. And it's a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines. The link is in the description below to Amazon, where you can purchase it. It is available in both hardcover and ebook. So make sure to check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.